Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Angry Cast and Fallout Shelter 2023. How y'all doing? Oh, my. Well, we did it. We got through selling house, and we are back at it now. I just need to find time to do stuff on a regular basis now. But first, today, we're going to go do a quest. We're going to go do the one we talked about last week, the Reign of Radroach Rodney. Hey, defeat Radroach Rodney. I get no respect. Radroach Rodney and his army of mind-controlled Radroaches are invading the wasteland. Let's go do it, shall we? Yes. Here we go. Kill Radroach. God, I quit. Kill Radroach Rodney. I want to say Radroach Rodney or something like that. Who knows? Yeah, look at this. This is not that big. We're gonna, we got some things I want to just kind of discuss. Gonna lead in with a very simple backstory on this. Way back in the day, in the 80s, maybe in the late 70s at this point, I don't remember which. There were like 13 channels on TV. And then 12 o'clock, the national anthem came on, and TV went off the air to a snow for probably a good 6 hours until the morning, and then they started back up again. Didn't have 24-hour TV, didn't have cable. You had satellite. I think they probably had some form of cable back then, but they really didn't have cable as we know it today. We didn't have streaming. We didn't have, in my household, we had, like I said, 13 channels. And then there was, of course, at that time, there was HBO and Cinemax and Showtime and those types of things. But we didn't have them. At least we didn't pay for them. If you were just good enough to get the tuning right, the backs of TVs had these little screws that you could hook things to, the wires to, for UHF, for like an antenna to go out. If you were good enough and you had a tuner, you could dial in like a radio in between stations to find certain things, and you could find possibly the signal for. Oh, this is already really. Okay, well, he's dead already. You can find the signal for HBO or Cinemax, but it would be like this very distorted, like half the screen or up above or top, like would be reversed, like you'd have half the screen showing the left half and the right half would be switched, the top and bottom would be switched, it would have these big lines, and you go so for the first 4 years of my life, that if I watched HBO, it would be this in the background, like it wouldn't be like the clear, crisp picture. But I did watch HBO. I did watch Fraggle Rock growing up, and I watched a bunch of other things I probably shouldn't have watched at that age. But yeah, so we kind of, at that time, I guess you would say we were stealing HBO. And then at some point, somebody went up on the pole to do something. I think how the story went, they tried to steal for themselves, and they managed to get the attention of the TV, or phone or whatever people that were in charge of that kind of thing, and they came out and blocked the signal, and we lost pretty much everything. But we got it back. We figured it out. We had it in such a way that we were still doing it, so we could still steal HBO. Yeah, and then, my parents built the house in 1983, 84-ish, and we moved in October of 84, and at that point we then were actually paying. We actually paid for HBO. We decided to go legit, as it were. And, my parents had HBO for as long as I can remember from then on, for the next 30 years, for as far as I know. Until I moved out in 2000 or 1999 and had been living on my own since then. And then HBO was, we had you had cable boxes at that point. You had broadband cable or whatever else, and internet and all that stuff, and you had like a TV set box. And people don't actually understand what it was like for us growing up in those times with not having any idea what was coming on TV. We couldn't just look it up on the internet, and if we didn't have a TV guide, you had to go to a channel that was like 19 or something like that. It was a local access. It was the advertising channel, or the A channel, and it showed a scrolling menu of what was on each channel at that particular time. If you wanted to see what was on channel 2 and you flipped to the A channel and it was already on the menu of, scrolled up to channel 3, and it went out of view, you had to wait until it went through all the channels and came back running. And at that point, we had probably close to 100 or so channels, including cable. So it wasn't really that great. You'd probably end up missing most of the show you wanted to watch if you wanted to find what you wanted to watch to begin with. But that was, that's how the nature of those things went. This was this was pre-streaming. This was, we didn't really have, DVDs weren't even out yet at this point. You had to go to Blockbuster or your local video store and rent a VHS tape and then rewind it and take it back. We didn't have, Radroach Rodney is not a Radroach, it's a person. Oh, I didn't realize. Whoops. I was so wrong. Yeah. But if you didn't have a VCR, you didn't have access, or you didn't have a Blockbuster account, whatever else, okay, fine, you didn't have access to that stuff. You were pretty much had to go buy it, and watch or wait till it came on whatever pay channel service you had, or if it came on regular TV, you could watch with commercials. But that all changed. That all changed in the 2000s with the, with Netflix. Netflix was a company at the time that was, you would sign up for a subscription, pay so much money a month, and you would get a VHS tape or a DVD sent to your home through the mail. And you would watch it, and then you would send it back. Now, Megan was one of these early adopters of the DVD portion of this, and for, $10 a month, $12 a month, I think it was, she would get 2 DVDs at a time that she could watch, send them back, and she would get another 2. And, there wasn't, late fees. That was the thing with videos, and if you go to the store and say, I want to go rent Titanic on VHS, and you have to, you go get it, and you have, a 3-day rental, and it takes you 2 days to watch the movie because it's so damn long, and then you still have to rewind the tapes, and that takes a day, and you end up running late, you have to pay a late fee. So, the thing about Netflix was you didn't have late fees. You could keep it as long as you wanted to and not worry about running into an issue with owing money back to the company. Same thing with video games too. And how do you we used to do that with the Nintendo games. I would go to the local video store and rent a Nintendo game, and thankfully at that point we had the codes that we could get to any point in the game and have whatever we needed. Like you say, okay, I'm going to end at stage 4, level 5, and I have this many things on me, and have this many lives, and have this, many hearts, and then that code that, dictates what each one of those items are, and I wrote that down, and I could take the game back and then go re-rent it again, put in that code, and pick up where I stopped. That was how that worked. But like I said, Netflix was you rented the DVDs, you watched them, and then you took them back. But then they offered a streaming service, which is now everything has a streaming service. HBO, Disney Plus, Peacock, Hulu, Paramount, all of those. But now we have a little bit of a problem because Netflix got a little bit upset that people were sharing their passwords with other people, and they're firing back, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit. Oh, look at that. We got a military circuit board, of trifold flag, and legendary outfit recipe, and 3 Nuka-Cola qualms. That was a pretty good quest. Yay. Alrighty. Let's bring them back in. We can net 2 of that. That'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll get rid of this because we don't need it. I'll get rid of that because we don't need it, and collect. And we got a heavy raider armor, which is a duplicate. We already had that. Collect 75. What was it? From containers on quest. What was that? I didn't really. I know I probably saw it earlier, but I forgot what it was. What was that now? Collect from 75 containers on quest, and because we have her walking with Pip, we get 3 for each. So we've actually only been through probably a 15, 17, something like that. 18 about. Yeah, we only collect from 18 containers, which is mostly you can do on one quest. Times 3. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, almost 20. Almost 20. Yeah, that's about right. Math escapes me at this moment. Who cares? Hi, they. What do we got going on? Who else is? We got how many we got that are coffee breaking it? We got probably 6 that are on coffee break. Yeah, we could do 2 quests at a time. I should be doing that. Let's see here. Ooh. It's magic. A robot retrieval. Find the Mr. Handy box. Hey, this is a quest that if you watch the earlier video of where all the Mr. Handy quests are at. This is one of them, and we're going to go do that one next. Because, yeah! Oh, I forgot that. Oh, are you kidding me? I'm getting lazy and forgetful. I'm forgetting to heal my people up before I bring them back in. Let's get that done. Yeah, so as we get further into this conversation about Netflix, understand that the idea behind Netflix, and sharing passwords is, I mean, we get it. They should be making money. They should have a business. But there are several things that they're doing nowadays that are kind of crazy. And here's the thing. I don't pay for a Netflix account for streaming. Like I said, Megan has the DVD one, and I think we're dropping that because we don't really watch. We don't have a DVD player hooked up yet in the new house. And my laptop is not optical. Doesn't have an optical drive, so it's not like we can watch it, things on there. So that's kind of a sad thing. But let's get our people out here, and we'll talk more. Out in the wasteland. Nope, you're not one of them. You're one of them. You're one of them. What is your special purpose? And your special purpose? And... oh! Where are you? There you are. Yeah, go forth and conquer. Go for it! And we're going to set up somebody else as well for that daily quest, because why not? We'll get some cool stuff. Actually, you know what? No. Yeah, let's do it. Doesn't matter. Forget that. Coffee break. Coffee break. Mr. Burke, do we have things you can wear? Negative. Negative. We'll keep you in your outfits. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Anything better than that? That's it? Okay, well, they'll be good. They'll be good. Have fun! Destruction. Duo of destruction. Oh, red brood mothers. Probably should have sent out the other ones, but oh well. They'll be fine. Oh shit. 2. We'll do 2. Go for it. Yeah. Hey now. You're an all. Never mind. Find the Mr. Handy box. I think it's the big, huge box in the corner of this quest. I should have checked and seen if we'd already done this one, but I don't know if we had. Oh well. So yeah, let's do this way. So I'm just gonna come off the bat and say, like I said, I don't have a Netflix account for streaming. That being said, I do not also have other streaming services per se. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That doesn't mean that I have not watched my full share of shows and movies without having them. Going back into the days of college and going into even just in the last 10 years, I was able to catch up on a lot of things that I didn't have access to. I had cable and for years and paid $200 for channels that were continually taken away from me, and no extra content and no extra benefits. So I don't feel so bad because I spent a lot of money on that stuff over time, and the money went. They got their money. That's what I'm saying. But and let me actually, this is another thing. Let me also put this to you and see what you think. This is not per se, nobody in particular. This is just a hypothetical. Friend of a friend kind of situation. Someone had gone away for a vacation or something, and they had a house sitter, and that house sitter had access to a streaming account, and the house sitter used their streaming device that was hooked up to their TV and logged into their streaming account and was watching it while they were watching the house. And when they left themselves logged in, and this person who owned the house was, surprised when they came home and they say, hey, by the way, I have access to a streaming account that I didn't log myself into, and it was not my streaming account. And they wondered if this was a situation where, am I the asshole if I don't tell that person or log myself out or just, continue to use it? And as far as I am concerned with that person, I said, look, you didn't sign into the account. you did not pay for the account, somebody else did. And I work in IT. If I walk away from my computer and I leave myself logged in and open to anybody will randomly walk up to my computer and sit down, then I should I can be as mad as I want at them for looking at my email or sending private messages to other people and telling them what lies or just jokes or making any obscene comments. We've done this before in the past in previous jobs. If you left yourself unlocked, beware. You're gonna your boss is gonna get an IM that's not gonna be. But we all knew what that meant. If you saw an email that was like or an IM that was like what the heck, you knew somebody left their computer unlocked. But again, that. Granted, in my line of work, that's kind of like a data breach or a data exposure, but it's not. Hey, you learn, you live and you learn. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who don't do that. So I just said, look, they logged into the account. Now, does that streaming service care? Maybe, but that's up to the streaming service to figure that out and do with that information. You're not the one that caused the problem. It's not like a situation of Napster. And that's the other thing. Napster was a situation where, and I'm going off on a tangent here just for the simple fact that Napster was a service that took, somebody took a computer and put a bunch of MP3s on it, and then they gave internet access to get to those files on that computer and share them. Now, if I was to go on and get those music files from that computer, was I in trouble? Did I possess stolen property? I don't know, but the person who shared it was the person who was in trouble. But again, I lived in the 80s and the 90s where we had blank cassettes and we had rewritable DVDs and CD-ROMs, and we could burn our own CDs and make our own copies of tapes. And quite frankly, if we could tape them off the radio, how was that illegal? It might have been, but nobody bothered to come check up on it. I mean, there's this entire thing that home taping is killing the music industry, whatever. But the technology made itself available, and nobody caught up with the technology. I could go to the library, I could rent a DVD, or I could rent a movie, or and I say that they lend it to you for free. You don't have to pay for it. We did it in college. I had to watch movies or whatever for a class, or a video for a class, and that was a video I could have gone to Blockbuster and got, but it was there available to me. And also, people were like, if you have a party, or if you have a bar, and people would have Game of Thrones watch parties, and HBO got mad about that people were like letting people into their bar and selling food and selling drinks and charging people who would come and sit there and watch Game of Thrones on the screens, because they weren't paying for Game of Thrones, they were paying for the drinks and the beer. But the bar was. How do you stop that? How do you stop people from coming over to your house and watching pay-per-view? You pay $20, one person, but now what if you have 100 people sitting in your yard watching it on a big screen in the backyard, like on a projector? And what if people are driving by and watching it? Is that illegal? I mean, there's so many gray area things with this. So, back to the entire idea about Netflix. Netflix is upset because there's password sharing happening. Netflix is upset because people are sharing their accounts with other people, and it's pissing them off, so they're going to put in these new rules. Well, the problem is that we've been bad for so long, I don't think you can spank us. But here's some of the things, and I'm pulling this directly from Netflix. It's like, can you still share Netflix with someone who doesn't live with you? They're trying to get it into a household. So no, accounts are only meant to be used within one household. Netflix will prompt users to try and sign into your account elsewhere to sign up for their own account instead and block their access until they do so. Netflix will not begin automatically charging account holders for that. But what are we saying here? We're saying that, someone who doesn't live in your household. They're saying people who do not live in your household will need to use their own Netflix account to watch Netflix. Well, if I am not home, if I am on the road, if I'm traveling, if I'm on my phone and watching Netflix on the bus going to work or whatever, I'm not in my own household. And I'm using my account. How is that wrong? I paid for that account. I'm using it. I have that device. I don't understand. But they're saying when a device outside your household signs into an account and is used persistently, they're going to ask you to verify that device before it can be used to watch Netflix or switch your Netflix household. We do this to confirm that the device is the account. So They're verifying a device. Okay, so fine. If I decide I'm going to share my Netflix password with someone else, and I say, you're just going to be persistently using it. So now, okay, fine. You've already just blown away the idea that, we can't do this. So I don't understand what the problem is. Verifying a device. Now, when someone signs into your device, into your account from a device not associated to your household, or if your account is accessed persistently, we may ask you to verify. To verify a device, they send a link to the email address or phone number associated with the primary account owner. Okay, I understand that. That's like two-factor authentication. The link opens with a 4-digit verification code and needs to be entered on the device in 15 minutes. Just like any other thing we do. I have, an authenticator for my work. I have authenticator for other, social media networks, other stuff like that. Once it's successful, the device can use it, and they might ask you periodically to check. That's nothing different. So I don't see how that's bad yet. Now, when I'm using Netflix to travel to a different location, we want you to be able to enjoy Netflix anywhere, anytime. If you are the primary account owner, you shouldn't need to have your device. You shouldn't need to verify your device to watch. If you are away from the Netflix household for an extended period of time, what if I've been displaced due to an earthquake, due to fire, due to flooding, due to something else, due to a pandemic? What if I'm stuck in Japan because I've tested positive for COVID for 3 weeks in a row? Okay, fine. You may occasionally be asked to verify your device. One goes back to the verification of the device. I don't think that that's a bad idea. Now, as long as the device used to watch Netflix is internet connection in the primary account owner's household, we will not require. Let me read this again because I screwed it up. As long as the device being used to watch Netflix is using the internet connection in the primary account owner's household, we will not require verification. This is going to get around the idea of VPNs, and they're going to say that it doesn't work on VPN anyways. If a Netflix account is being used by a device that is not associated with the primary account owner's household, the device will need to be verified before it can go back to the idea of having to verify. Okay, fine, whatever. How Netflix detects devices within a household. We use information such as IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity from devices signed into Netflix account. Number of people who watch sometime, and that's determined by plan. So again, I don't see how this is that big of a deal, but what I'm reading elsewhere says, can I still use Netflix while traveling? All of these things are like a 7-day access. Now, here's the one that really, really gets me. How can you prevent Netflix from blocking your devices? Signing into your home Wi-Fi at least once every 31 days on your devices will make them trusted devices, which Netflix will remember and leave unblocked. If your device has been blocked incorrectly, you will need to contact in order to get. So this is what we're talking about. I think IP addresses, the IP address, of things. So I think we're going a little bit crazy over this. I think there's still a way to go around it. I don't think that this is going to be one of those situations where we can't get around these things. And I don't understand, and I think it's just a more fear over not understanding the verbiage that is in these terms and agreement. That being said, I know that Netflix wants to dial back the ability for people to share accounts, but here's the problem. Just like I said with DVDs, with CDs, with Napster, all this stuff, we're going to get around it. The human nature is to buck the system, to get something for nothing, to get around these things. And I'm going to tell you why this is a problem for Netflix. This is a big deal, and we're going to do stuff in the background when I talk about this. This is a big deal because Netflix really pooched the messaging on this, and I don't know if they meant to. I don't really see this as something that as big as bad as people are claiming it is. Here's the basis of it, and this is just what I've gathered. I could be wrong. Somebody can tell me in the comments that I'm wrong, but this is what I'm seeing. Basically, all Netflix has done is pushed out two-factor authentication for signing into an extra device. That's all they've done. Something that we do everywhere. If I log into a banking app on a computer, if I log in somewhere else, I am given a code on my phone. I do that for work every day. When I log into our network, I have to use authentication. When I log into social media accounts, it asks me, is this really you? So, and this is to guard from people doing bad things. Now, in the terms of Netflix or other streaming services, this is seen as them cracking down on password sharing. And, that is a more salacious story to readers. That is more to the, the people of the country versus corporations, that kind of thing. Little guy versus big guy, Wall Street versus Main Street. It's a bigger fight, but it really isn't. Now, and this is why I'm saying that. Netflix really should have just said, to protect your data, we are going to be rolling out two-factor authentication, and here's what's going to happen. And they probably would have been okay. Still, people would have been saying, well, this is what this really means, and probably is true. Has Netflix lost money? Okay, so since the pandemic, when everybody was stuck at home, we couldn't go out to the movie theater, and things started showing up on streaming instead of going into the movie theater, we had a need for a large audience to view things on streaming. We didn't have the ability to go out and do it. So then, if we weren't working, we weren't making extra money, we couldn't pay for a streaming service, and therefore we didn't have, everybody with their own account. We were sharing. And, okay, so fine, Netflix probably lost money. And 2 years later, things are going back to the other direction, and now we're still exploiting this model of using our Netflix accounts across friends and, Netflix and share and all that. And all of a sudden now it's a problem because Netflix is probably seeing that they're losing money because people are going back out to the movie theaters. They're not sitting on these things. And other streaming services are starting to take a bite out of their market share. Things are becoming, and this is one, and part of this is why, and people need to realize this, that Netflix does have their own content, but Netflix also purchases content from other companies like Friends. Stranger Things is made on Netflix, and Netflix it owns it. But Friends is not Netflix. Friends is another company. And now that Peacock has their own streaming app, and other companies have their own streaming apps, they may want to say, okay, you know what? We've been paying Netflix, or we've been having Netflix pay us to host this content, but now we can just get the content, the money that we were getting paid to have for them, the royalties to that, we can then pass that on to consumers to buy into our streaming platform and put ads on it, so we have advertising from people, and then we can just say, okay, fine, we'll host Friends on Peacock, we won't put it on Netflix, and then Netflix loses money. And it gets expensive for Netflix to continue to move. Stranger Things is not cheap. Stranger Things is pretty much bankrupting Netflix on its own. But how do they quantify that? Or how they qualify that? They can't. They just say, well, streaming services, password sharing, it's biting into us. We need to change something. Here's the thing: the first guy out the gate always has a great time until others catch on, and then it becomes the second guy. The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. So Netflix is now experiencing what's happening because other streaming platforms are taking a bite out of their market share and people are going to the movie theater again. That's the main story here. Is it because people are, 10 extra people are not paying $12.99 a month to watch, Emily in Paris? No. That's not. I would love to see the actual numbers by how much money they're losing from people sharing passwords. How many households and the additional by IP are they losing from people logging in? Because if you have an account that has 4 or 5 devices, okay, fine. If I have a plan where I have 2 devices and I have me and my best friend, and I watch it on my TV at home, and then I give my password to my friend, and my friend watches it on their TV at their house. So now it's 2 devices still, but I'm the one paying for the account. So then my friend goes to log into Netflix and says, I'd like to watch Emily in Paris. They log in. I get a thing saying, hey, there's a login from another device. Here's a 4-digit code. So I then text my friend, hey, here's the 4-digit code. You're good for about a week. And you can coordinate these efforts. And you're not violating any of the rules. Now, are they with your own household? No. But households, the definition of a household, we're semantics at best. But people go to college. and they can still, are they subject to being able to watch Netflix from home in college? Probably shouldn't be if you get technical about it. However, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Mom, I need the code for Netflix. Okay, here you go, hon. We'll see you when you come home for getting laundry done. You want to get laundry done, come home, raid the pantry, and then go back to school for the next week. That's what we're talking about. We're not really going to see a huge drop in people unable to share their Netflix passwords. That's not what's going to happen. But the negative connotation of this entire story, that it is cracking down on password sharing because we're losing money because password sharing, that is what's going to drive cancel culture on this. People who don't understand, who don't live day to day with multi-factor authentication, with two-factor authentication, people that don't understand that, moms and dads who are just figuring out how to do Netflix now, but still can't make the 12 o'clock stop blinking on their VCR, can't figure out how to, work their phone, and they have to call their kids on a house phone to figure it out. Those are the people that are going to be like, I can't deal with this, and they're going to just kill their account. I only watched, one thing. Blah. They're going to drive away existing customers who are not doing anything wrong because they're going to be bogged down in the minutia of stupidity of not knowing how to do things. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to have my devices. I'm scared of everything, and therefore, we're just going to kill. Like, look, you've already given up so much of your data you don't even know. So don't even act like this is going to be the thing that's going to give up your data. This is just another form of security. And if anything else, we know that the security that we have right now is pretty bad. I mean, this is probably the best thing to have happened for something that has your data as it is, to make sure that you're not, not who you say you are. But it's going to make it look bad, and they could have handled it so much better. Now, the whole idea, remember back when the whole split between DVD and streaming service was going to be, separate, and it was going to cause and everybody's going to be like, oh my God. Well, I don't think it really made that much of a big difference. I don't think anybody changed. I think what we saw is people react the way they're going to react this time around. They're going to just not accept it, and they're going to just walk away for something else. That's what this. That really is all that this really is. I don't see it. I don't see that this is going to be a big, huge deal for people who are already sharing that. Now, back to the story of the person who was house sitting and used their Netflix. The person who was house sitting and they logged into their streaming account service on that person's TV or their streaming device, and then they came home and it was still logged into that device, that service, and they were continually using it. This is going to affect them. Because what's going to happen is that if there was not I don't know what it's, I don't know if anything has happened differently since then, but if that person never communicated with the person who was the house sitter and said, hey, I know you were using Netflix on my TV and you left yourself logged in, we've been watching it, do you care? And if they say, no, I don't care. Well, here's the thing. Once these new enforcements are put into place and there's a forced logout of an account, or there's a forced login to an account, or they're just an account that's not persistent, device, then the user will probably get that code or email. And if they don't know that person's been watching it, they're probably going to deny it. And the person who's been watching that, that streaming account service or whatever, is going to say, whoops, we no longer can do this. But again, we don't have a system right now that is entirely dependent on having access to one. We have many. And there are ones that don't even have to pay for. We've gone, and this is the funny thing about this entire situation, is we went from paying, like I said, $200 for cable, broadband cable with very little, with DVR service, and then dropping it because you weren't getting anything out of it and going straight to using an antenna and just watching TV over the air antenna, HD antenna stuff. But we replaced people cutting the cord and paying cable companies high, the cost of $200 for their services versus spending $200 on getting, let's say, Hulu with live TV, which is can be $100 a month, and then you add in any premium channels like HBO Max or Paramount or Showtime or that stuff, and now you're talking another 30 to 40. So you really are paying the same amount to various streaming services a la carte than you are paying to the cable companies before. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It really is. And what's going to end up happening is that we're going to find ourselves with more jailbroken items, streaming services that are not. Or what you're going to find is that these little ones like Tubi and Pluto and all the other ones are going to make a bigger dent into the markets of these other streaming services with and then put ads and offer free, and soon what's going to happen is you're going to have a slew of them all under the same umbrella, and the next thing you know, we're going to all be back underneath the cable companies anyways, because it's all going to end up being absorbed to sell off the losses. It's going to all come back around, and it's going to be, same, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. So, all right, well, that's it. Let's see what we got left. I think we got some things here to do, so let's go for it. All right, we're going to let them on their way back in, and we'll do that next time, or I'm going to actually do that offline. But they'll be bringing it back in. We're not gonna waste any more of that stuff. Oh, look, I got some things to do here. Let's get them through here. Let's get through, and we have 6 gifts to open up, including a Mr. Handy and a pet. So let's do that. As you saw from the thing, one of the recipes that we found was for one of the new items that we have not probably had access to or made yet. I don't know which, but let's go ahead and do it. Let's see here. Okay, boom. All right. Cats, we got the Radaway, we got Caps, we got Running Hunting Rifle, Wonder Glue, and oh baby, Expert Radiation Suit. Okay, not bad. Oh, and actually the Mr. Handy is not going to come in yet, so because it's still out in the wasteland. We might bring them in. Woohoo! What do we get? Gold watch. I'm not even carrying anymore. Rusty. This is kind of like Jeremy Hancock. We got Jeremy Hancock. That's another one. Oh, there's the Mr. Handy. Okay, we did bring him back because we sent him back out to do doggone. Shovel, combat armor, caps, power, and an amplified laser rifle. Not bad. Not bad for some of the new people coming in. What else? Oh boy, military circuit board. Yay, we're going to be building some good stuff with that. Caps, wasteland medic, food, and soldier uniform. Not that great. What pet did we get? Was this a Doberman? Oh, we got an alien drone. Another alien drone. How about that? Plus 4 damage. I really didn't see what it was doing. I mean, it might have done it. We just didn't notice the animation didn't show us anything. But then, hello, Mr. Handy. I'm at your service, sir. Always a pleasure. Yes. So we will bring them in. These, like I said, these ones I have not seen. I will check through. I know we did. I have done, I believe, the robot one we just did, because we did have. I had footage for the video that I did, so that's possible that yeah, really. Okay, where? Oh, let's do that. The collection on that one. Okay, there we go. And you, my friend, let's see. Do we have room in the, I think we do. We do. And that'll make us at 134. We are good to 146 for now. So there you go. We'll come back and do more quests, and I don't know that we'll get much more done here as far as filling out the blanks on the board, because we still have a lot of people going through training. And let's see what they can be making. Ooh, yeah, we can be making power armor, Mark 6 power armor, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to make more good weaponry. But we can unlock the... Oh my, look, here's what we can unlock. Look at all these things we can unlock. Wow. Hardened pulse rifle. Virgil's rifle. Red rocket. Plasma thrower. Yeah. What do we got? We can do... We can't do... Can we do a vengeance? We can do a vengeance. Let's make another vengeance. Beatty! I blew all those caps. I did that backwards. Oh well. We don't care, do we? It really doesn't matter. It's all for gravy anyways. And as for me, I'm out. Audi 5000, and we will talk to you next time. Have a good one. Take care of each other. Take care of the planet. Take care of yourselves. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.